overwhelmed with resumes.
Which made it easy to miss a great candidate.
That old process was not smart.
Then I went to ZipRecruiter.
Its technology finds the right people
and actively invites them to apply.
So I get qualified candidates fast. Smart.
See why ZipRecruiter is rated #1 by employers in the U.S. Try it now for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. Based on Trustpilot rating of hiring sites with over 1,000 reviews.
Message and data rates may apply.
Do you want to learn how to get started making money flipping houses right here in Las Vegas? If so, we have an amazing opportunity for you. We're looking for a small group of motivated individuals to join our real estate investing team. You'll be introduced to our 3-step system for flipping homes right here in the local area. This is Than Merrill, star of A&E's hit TV show Flip This House. My team and I are looking for a handful of people in the Las Vegas area who want to learn how to get started making money flipping houses in your spare time using other people's money. Las Vegas is a perfect market for my system, and next week I'm holding a free 2-hour educational workshop where we'll share how to get started making money flipping houses and how to build long-term wealth with income properties.
To get 2 free tickets to Than's workshop, text your 5-digit zip code to 82,000. Seating is extremely limited, so text your 5-digit zip code to 82,000. Text in the next 10 minutes, and you'll also reserve a free copy of Than's Money for Deals guide. Just text your zip code to 82,000.
I'm attorney Glenn Lerner. Hurting a wreck and thinking about dealing with the insurance company yourself? Stop. According to the Insurance Research Council, people hurt in a car wreck who are represented by an attorney get more than 3 times the settlement than people who deal with the insurance companies themselves. Why settle for $5,000 when you could get $15,000? Why settle for $15,000 when you could be entitled to $45,000? Why settle for less when you could get all the money you deserve? Hurting a wreck and need a check? Call Glenn Lerner Injury Attorneys.
Glenn Lerner is the way to go. Call 877-1500.
Hello, friends. This is Thomas Johnson from Joe's Seafood Prime Steak and Stone Crab. Need a great idea for lunch or dinner? Your best bet is Joe's, one of the most popular dining destinations on the Strip. Joe's provides the ideal setting for private parties with accommodations for up to 150 guests. Stop by to see us at the Forum Shops at Caesars and ask for Thomas Johnson, your maitre d'.
702-792-9222, the number to make a reservation at Joe's. And what did Ralph Michaels come up with today?
Oh, we have an SEC, a college hoops total for tonight. And how about this one? Florida, the Gators, 14-2 to the under on the road, their last 16 tries. And that includes the fact their last game at LSU went over in overtime. It was tied at 64 in regulation with a total of 140. That counts as a loser.
Right.
And it's 14-2.
Pretty good. And not surprising in a sense because Florida is a defense-first team. They have trouble creating offense, but they are very good defensively. So Michael White's team, I guess you would say it's likely to be an under team for the most part.
And they have been a consistent under team on the road. Vandy, on the other hand, they struggle to generate offense in any way, shape, or form.
Mainly because it's just the way it goes. This would have been a good Vandy team had the point guard not gotten hurt at the beginning of the season. One of the best freshmen in the country went down. He's probably never going to play for Vanderbilt now, and it ruined their season.
Well, they've gone under in 6 straight at home. So Florida trending under on the road, Vandy trending under at home. Under 120 night, Florida and Vandy tonight. Under 129, I should say. Florida.
We begin our Major League Baseball team previews, and more from a betting standpoint as well as what we think they'll do overall. We started them on Monday with the Diamondbacks, continued with the Braves yesterday. We'll be doing this on a fairly daily basis, and today we're going to look at the Chicago Cubs as we stay in the National League. Now, I am often very critical of Chris Russo, who hosts the High Heat show on MLB Network, because he just refuses to pay any attention to analytics, metrics, whatever. He just hates them. But this is one time where I'm going to go along with Russo, who belittled the PECOTA ratings, the PECOTA projections that came out for this year.
We had the Cubs in last place, right?
With 79 wins, and that is absurd. Quite frankly, that is patently absurd. They are not going to be a losing baseball team. They may not be a great team, but they're going to be good. And the real total is 88 on the Cubs. That's more realistic. They're 8-1 to win the World Series. They're 4-1 to win the National League. This is still one of the contending teams, and I don't see where it's even possible to project them as a 79-win team. Based on what?
That's what I'm curious as to. Obviously, whenever you're talking about the advanced analytics, whatever they're going to plug in is what they're going to get out.
Right.
So what are they plugging in there that says that the Cubs are the worst team in the division, the 5th place team in the division? The problem I have with the Cubs is not how good they're going to be. It's how do you make money with this team?
Well, that's a different story because the Cubs they're always popular. They're not going to be underrated.
No, they're not going to be underrated.
So from that standpoint, it is tougher. I mean, I think the Cubs are going to be good. I'm not going to run to the books to bet over 88, though. It's a tough division, and, an injury or two, and you're not going to get to 88. But looking at the team, Wilson Contreras did not have a great year last year. He figures to be better this season. Anthony Rizzo is fine. Zobrist is fine at second base. If they want to plug Descalso, who they picked up. Descalso is one of those valuable guys whose numbers aren't that good, but he is definitely a plus for any team.
A huge pickup.
Yep.
I'm with you.
And then the big story in the infield, of course, is Chris Bryant. Because Chris had a terrible year last year based on Chris Bryant's abilities, thanks to his injured shoulder. It was no good. He's healthy again. That's a huge plus for the Cubs. It can't get any bigger than that, in fact.
Sure. And again, this is not a lineup that is going to be unable to cover run lines. You know what I mean? And last year, at times, they really struggled to win by margin. The starting staff was elite a year ago. The bullpen, top 5 in every metric. And we know the Cubs are going to be buyers at the deadline. This is not a team that's going to be trading guys away. It's going to be a team that's adding salary, not dumping it. But all that being said, they won 95 games last year and produced $0 of profit.
Right.
They were an under machine. They cashed a bunch of under tickets, but that was about it.
But Pacoda doesn't look at that. And so how do you go from 95 to 79? I mean, I'm looking at the pitching staff. All right, John Lester's getting older, but he's still effective. Yu Darvish can't be worse than he was last year.
Sure he can.
Well, if he doesn't show up at all. Well, last year he was terrible, but then he got hurt and he was done for the season. So he can't be worse. Cole Hamels can still pitch some. He's not what he used to be, but he's still a good pitcher. Kyle Hendricks, actually, I think, could improve this year.
He's been the moneymaker on that roster, was Hendricks, because the advanced metrics don't love him as much as they love some of the other guys, and he doesn't attract a price the way Lester does. Lester's thrown so many innings, though.
He has, yeah, and maybe they all go. And Quintana's also on the roster. And look, I understand Quintana he's erratic to some extent. When he's not good, he's really not good. But he's your number 5 starter. You know how many teams would just die to have Jose Quintana as a number 5 starter?
No doubt.
I think that projection is the worst I've seen in quite some time. The one area for me where I really do have concern for the Cubs, and this is an area that could be a big problem for them, is the bullpen. We don't know how long Brendan Morrow is going to be out and what he's going to be like when he comes back. Pedro Strop, Cechek, Brad Brock, Brandon Kinsler, Dunsing, Alec Mills, Carl Edwards, C.J. Edwards. I don't know what his status is right now. He's hurt. That's an area the Cubs might have to do some buying earlier than they think.
And it's funny that you say that, because with an organization like the Cubs, I don't worry about that one iota. If their bullpen, they got a lot of different pieces. If they start out the season and there are problems in the bullpen, they'll be buyers and solve that problem right away. The organization is smart. They recognize Quintana's a 5-inning guy.
Yep.
Lester, they want to
Lester's
limit
probably a 5 or 6 inning guy.
That's what I'm saying.
Yep.
They want to limit their pitch count, so they will spend the money on the bullpen. And if the initial moves don't work, they'll make more.
But that is an area. Pedro Strop is not a closer. Okay, he's just not. And if the Cubs have a vulnerability that other teams can exploit, I think that's it. I think the offense is going to be really good. I never even mentioned Javier Baez, who's one of the best players in baseball. Never even mentioned him in the conversation.
Oh, by the way.
Yeah. By the way, here's the best guy on the team. I think 88's a good number on them because it's a tough division. I don't think the Brewers are going to be as good as they were last year. I mentioned that to JD, and a variety of reasons for that. We'll get to them when we get to the Brewers. The Cardinals look like they could be really good. The Pirates are never terrible, so they'll be okay. They'll be a middle-of-the-road 500 type team, and the Reds are improved. So I'm not running to the window to bet 88 over 88 on the Cubs, but I don't want the under either.
But again, last year felt like a disappointing season for Chicago. They didn't live up to expectations and all these different. And at the end of the year, they were a 95-win team. Exactly, a 95-win team that again showed no profitability at 95 wins. So I don't expect to be getting involved in Cubs games a lot. They're going to be one of those teams that's the exception rather than the rule for me to play them because we recognize how good they are. So do the markets.
Let's take a couple of minutes and do some NBA, which we left off earlier because this is more your domain. Jeff Davis is not a big fan of it, and I'm not either. Pistons and Spurs. Pistons off a nice win against the Pacers the other night. Now San Antonio just happy to be home. And it wasn't a good road trip. Their hold on the playoff spot has gotten precarious. But now that they're back home, would you expect things to change?
Long term, yes, if their confidence hasn't been rather. Confidence might be rattled right now. This is every year they go on the rodeo road trip, and every year they play well on the rodeo road trip. And this year,
not this time.
They won one game, over a 3-week span, and closed out the road trip by getting, losing to the Knicks in Madison Square Garden and losing to the Nets, getting bombed the next day. LaMarcus Aldridge, guys are not happy. We're frustrated. We want to win. We want to do the things to win. It's on us. No one is going to save us. All that being said, Pop was kind of happy with the loss to the Nets. I'm pleased about this game because we held a good team to 101 points. If we continue to do that, we'll be in pretty good shape. I'm not sure if that's Pop being Pop speak or if it's Pop saying, hey, we played at least a little bit of defense here. The Pistons were about to lose on the first night back of the All-Star break to Atlanta. And they stole that game in the last 2 minutes. And the Hawks kind of gave it away, and the Pistons took it. And since that time, blowout Miami, impressive win over Indiana. Reggie Jackson's playing well, finally. Drummond's been a monster. Griffin gets tossed. They still play fine. The bench is stepping up. There's a lot to like about Detroit right now, maybe more to like than there is about the Spurs.
Not a lot to like about either of the teams playing in the back end of the doubleheader tonight on ESPN. The Pelicanauts against the Lakers. And the Lakers, it's just, okay, let's see what they do, and then we'll wait around for LeBron to blow off some steam in the post-game press conference. He's not a happy guy right now. The Lakers are not playing well, and they are now a favorite not to make the playoffs.
Oh, yeah, big favorite. A lot of that has to do with the strength of schedule upcoming for L.A., but this isn't one of the tough games. And, when you look at that last road trip, that was so disheartening after coming back to beat Houston in that first game after the All-Star break. They went to New Orleans and were a flat-out no-show. The game at Memphis wasn't as bad. From an effort standpoint, they just didn't hit shots when it mattered, and the Grizzlies did. But there was certainly after the Memphis loss, they were still talking to a man about the lack of effort that they had in the game against New Orleans, where Anthony Davis didn't play. Davis is going to play tonight, although he's going to sit the fourth quarter again. He won't be in the game during crunch time. But for as poorly as the Lakers played on those two games, that's not the Lakers are better than that, and this is a game they have circled. I don't want the dog in this one.
No, it might be a night the Lakers take out some frustrations on a team that really doesn't care at this point. So Lakers minus the points would seem to make some sense. We'll take a break. We'll come back. The Running Rebels are in action tonight. They are in Reno. Excuse me. That's probably what they're doing right now at the prospect of facing.
Turning their head and coughing.
Oh, boy, it could be a rough night for the Rebels. I don't know if they'll do better than they did down here against the Wolfpack. That was an ugly one. The Rebels do have some revenge on their minds. We'll talk about that game in our marquee matchup next.
The Las Vegas Sportsline.
Win Vegas Golden Knights tickets and the ultimate party at the Las Vegas Ice Center inside Brooksy's Bar and Grill. Simply stop by any Lee's Discount Liquor and get the text code to register. While you're there, pick up a 30-pack of Bud Light for only $19.99.
Contractor license 0079414.
Don Cool was standing in line at a convenience store when he saw an elderly man fumbling in his wallet and digging through his pockets. Embarrassed, he decided to return a box of corn checks to the cereal aisle. Just then, a young man holding 2 6-packs of Bud Light reached down and scooped a $5 bill off the floor. He told the old man he saw it fall out of his wallet. The man completed his purchase and left the store. That's when Don Cool saw the young man return one of his 6-packs of beer to the cooler. I wish I had been there with Don that day. I would have offered that young man a job at Gettle because I know he cares about people and I know he has character. If you know air conditioning or if you know plumbing and you care about people and have character, I want to meet you. You're going to love, absolutely love, working at Gettle. Put the pedal to the metal, call Gettle. G-O-E-T-T-L. There's nothing better, but it's hard to spell.
I got my brand new Shinola watch at MJ Christensen. Absolutely love it.
Shinola is an incredible American story. It talks about what happens when industry comes back to America. This visionary hired 70-some-odd people